There are two seats of power that are hidden within your soul. In fact, you're actually sitting in one right now as we speak. One is giving you everything. The other is quietly destroying your life. Let's find out which one you've chosen. Now, I know I kind of mentioned this in the last video regarding the two thrones, which is the throne of the ego and the throne of the creator. However, I kind of gave a really blanket explanation about how these thrones actually work and didn't really give as much detail as I should have, but this video is going to explain that because this is a very powerful concept. So the first one that we're going to start off with is the throne of the ego. Now, as you're paying attention to this throne, look at the artistry of it. Look how beautiful, comforting, almost seductive-like in its nature. One that I would say that any king or queen would actually love, including the ego. And to be completely honest with you, most people of the day will look at a throne like this and they would say, that's fitting for me to sit in because it's beautiful, inviting. Like, why would I not choose this throne? However, there's just one critical and foundational issue with that. When you sit down on this throne and you place your hands on the dark polished mahogany curvatures of the wood, that wood is nothing more than your past grievances that justifies you being who you are today. This wood, which has been intricately carved to capture all of your past grievances, all of your past traumas, your hurt, your pain, your suffering, since you were a child leading into your adulthood, preserved like a work of art that's only specific to you. You also realize that this rich, deep red velvet that you are sitting in is plush, comfortable, and inviting. And as you begin to sit, you sink further and further into its softest fabric, but it was made out of your own excuses. It's a beautiful, warm blanket of justification, talking within your ear, saying, oh yeah, you're right to be angry about that situation. Oh, you're right to be petty about this. You're right to do this. You're right to do that. Giving blame to everything and everyone. It justifies your right to be resentful. It also justifies your right to say at all times, this is not my fault. You will also notice its color is made of passion, but it's not a passion of creation. It's a passion of blame. You will constantly sit there and blame everything else of every circumstance besides yourself. You'll blame your parents, you'll blame your job, you'll blame other people, you'll blame the person on the road that cut you off and made your day feel so bad. You'll blame everyone and everything. This right here is the throne's deceptive power because its primary attribute is comfort. This throne demands absolutely nothing from you. It doesn't require any form of accountability, no self-reflection, no responsibility, just consistent victimhood. And its gift above all else when you sit is intoxication of its seductiveness. You will always want to come back to it because guess what? You'll realize nothing is my fault. There is nothing I have to self-reflect on. It's everyone else's fault except for me. Now, I would have to say that this is the number one critical issue because this throne, even though that it's a beautiful looking throne, it is a cage and looks can be deceiving. The power that it gives you is nothing more than an illusion to make you feel as if you are powerful for being aware of everyone else and your external events and circumstances and none of your own. You're not being self-reflective, you're not being responsible, and you're not being accountable. And as I said, it's a beautiful looking throne, but it's a beautiful prison. Listen, I'm not above anybody either when I speak of this throne. When I was 19 years old and I was working at Kroger over here in Michigan, one thing that always happened was I was always being late for work. I was always blaming and saying, oh, well, why do I have to come in at this time and why can't it be at this time? I thought it was 7 minutes or 5 minutes. And then they unfortunately let me go, specifically because I was always blaming them and not looking at myself. However, there is a completely different throne on the opposite end that is called the throne of the creator. And as you look at it, it looks unappealing and most people would just walk right past it. And yes, it looks uncomfortable because it is. But what you don't realize is that it is the most powerful throne that most will never sit in. As you can see, all of the things that I talked about with the throne of the ego is not present when it comes to the throne of the creator. There's no red velvet. There's no artistic carvatures. There's none of that. It looks very foundational on purpose. There's no carvings of your past stories, past grievances, your pain as a child and all. There's no blaming. There's no none of that because it lives in the eternal now, right now. The cold hard surface of this throne was made to be a constant reminder that you will always be accountable and you will always be responsible for everything that you act and react upon. No, it does not offer you any comfort. No, it does not offer you the ability to place blame upon anyone else. What it does offer you is that your reality from inward and outward is your creation. Therefore, as you can see, the power is not in its appearance. The power is in its foundation. Now, I'll get a little personal when it comes to what I mean about the example of the throne of the Creator. A couple of years ago, me and my ex-girlfriend, we ended up having our son, which he's in the next room right now. And a couple months after we had him, me and her started to have some issues. We were going back and forth, arguing. It was relationship stuff, right? Unfortunately for me, what ended up happening was that she did this thing where she just decided to not allow me to see my son for about almost 2 years. Now, in everyone else's mind that was around me, everyone really thought, man, she's just so sick in the head, this and that, and all this other stuff. I didn't think that way. What I thought was, all I want her to do is to just get better. And I truly meant that from the bottom of my heart. All I wanted her to do was to get better. And lo and behold, out of nowhere, almost within 2 years, it was about 1.5 years, her boyfriend ended up giving me a call at the time and telling me, hey, do you want to come see your son on whatever day that was? I forget. And the reason why he was able to do that was because he said, my mother did the same exact thing and I don't want this child to be without his father like my mother did to me. Now, of course, I had no idea that was going on. That is what I mean by I take responsibility. I take accountability of me. And of course, in the meantime, I literally had adopted the idea that dad is not good, then of course my son will not be good. So I gotta work on myself. I gotta be on my P's and Q's. I gotta make money. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And again, no one else would be able to see that. And that's okay. But what you realize is that being in this throne means you are the creator of everything in your life. I slept with this woman. I had a baby with this woman. I didn't know what she was going to do because I can't control her. But what I can do is control me. And that is where the power lies, in the foundation of this throne. You must choose which throne that you are going to sit in at the end of the day. I want you to type into the comments an exact situation where you ended up having a moment where there was a circumstance that was occurring and then you said, no, I'm going to be the bigger person, the better person. No, I'm not talking about being petty. No, I'm not talking about throwing shots or doing any of that stuff. I'm really genuinely talking about the bottom of your heart where you said, I am going to be better. Because I cannot control them, but I can control me. Listen, everything that you have within you in your own world projects outwardly based upon your action and reaction. Pay attention to those things. Those things will truly tell you which throne are you sitting on. Are you sitting in the throne where you're constantly blaming other people and the circumstances that are around you? Or am I taking responsibility and accountability for everything that occurs? Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Yes, it is the very hardest thing to do when you're emotionally charged. And I think this is where we get into the next thing that I'm going to talk about in a future video. This is one thing that I need you to pay attention to. Which throne are you going to be sitting in? Now, if you want a fast track way to understanding all of these spiritual things that I'm talking about, then I would highly suggest that you pick up my book called Added Unto You. It's a user manual for the soul. The soul is what needs to be worked on, not everyone else, because you cannot control everyone else, but you can control you. And this is to help you. And get this, I made it nice, short and sweet. It's only 50 pages, easy read. I didn't make it too philosophical and all that stuff. I actually made it very real for people to understand. So please, if you really want to be able to understand these spiritual aspects, check out this book. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. With all that being said, I love you I hope you are having an absolutely amazing day. Drop a like on the video, share the video to a friend or a family member that is having the same issues that you can clearly see that they don't see. And in the comments, share a story, share a moment where you decided, I am no slave to the emotions of my ego, but I decide everything of me that I'm going to project outwardly. Because in this life, you are the creator of your own life. You are the creator of your problems, and you're the creator of your solutions. And with that being said, again, I love you. Have an amazing day. I'll see you guys in the next one.